Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, I want to talk to you all about a really insane encounter, I guess you could call it, that I had on a trip I took out west in December. This specific story time, I was literally going to Area 51, and I set off the security alarm at Area 51. It's crazy. I got a video of the security alarm going off. This video is going to be insane. Hopefully you enjoy. Let's get into it. So to preface the story, I want to explain why I was going on this vacation out west. Pretty much in the month of December, and like halfway through January, I took a huge 25-day trip from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I was going to 13 different states, seeing all the national parks, typical tourist stuff. There are going to be a ton of other stories from this trip that I'm going to be telling, but this one is probably the most insane one from the entire trip, so I want to tell it first. So this story actually takes place halfway through the trip, almost to the day, the exact halfway point. Earlier in the day, I was at Hoover Dam. If you've never been there, it's a massive dam. What can I say? So we had spent a few hours there just touring around, and we decided, me and my family did, we were gonna go up in Arizona and we were gonna check out Area 51. I'm sure most of you have heard of Area 51. If you haven't, you're probably living under a rock, but pretty much it's like a secret military base installation thing. It's out in the middle of the desert in Arizona, way out in the middle of the desert, way. The actual military base itself is really far off of any main road that there is, and it's literally 20 to 25 miles off of a dirt road just to get to the road to the base. So you got a main road, and then from the main road you drive 20 miles on a dirt road, and then you drive 15 more miles on a slightly paved gravel road just to get to the gates. And these gates themselves are really far away from the base as well, but going to the gates is as close as you can get, as close as a civilian can get. But if you didn't know, there was actually two entrances to Area 51. One of them is called the front entrance, obviously it's to the front, and the other one is the rear entrance at the back. So we decided in this day we were going to go to the first entrance, or the front entrance first, and we were going to go during the daytime after the Hoover Dam. It was about 2 p.m. so it was kind of getting evening time, especially since California's gets dark at 4 o'clock in the winter time. Let's be real. Now there are actually no official turn-by-turn directions. You can't just put in Google Maps and press take me to Area 51. You have to go to online forums, and from there people have kind of described how to get to the gates themselves. They're kind of just random directions. They're not even really good directions, but we found the directions we believed in and we followed them. So the turn off to the side road to get to Area 51 is, I would say, about 80 miles from any major town. There's a gas station about 30 miles from the dirt road entrance, and then there's a little cluster of town. It's got 800 civilians that live there. It's really close as well, probably less than 20 miles away, but you'll know you're going to the right place when you pull up to this mailbox. It's a mailbox with stickers all over it. This is what signifies the front gate. So by the time we even got to this front gate area, it was getting 4 o'clock p.m., which, if you don't know, the sun sets in the wintertime in California at 4:30. So it was getting up there in the evening time, and it was already starting to kind of the sun was setting behind the mountains, and it was kind of getting creepy, but we were you know what, we're gonna power through it. We're gonna go to the front entrance and then the back entrance. So we turn on this dirt road right next to the mailbox with the stickers on it, and then from there you're supposed to go to then from there the path is 20 miles straight, and you're not supposed to turn off on any roads. And then on the third or fourth turn, you turn there, because there actually is a farm on the end of this road that kind of parallels another military base, which I actually went there too. There's a picture of it. It's a little roundabout area, and then when you get to that second roundabout area, you turn right. So we were driving here, it was 30 minutes later, driving on these dirt roads, and we eventually got to the paved road of the front entrance. So we were okay, we're in the right spot, this is fine. So we're driving on this paved road for 15 more miles or something like that, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. I can't stress enough how in the middle of nowhere this base is in Arizona. If you've never been to the high deserts or the low deserts in the USA or in anywhere, then you might understand how there was no cell service, no internet, no telephone wires, just nothing, just random dirt roads with Joshua trees everywhere. So it's literally desolate wasteland out there. So we were driving this rental minivan down this dirt road, and we eventually got to that roundabout. Like I said, we got to the paved road, and we thought we were in the wrong spot because the paved road literally takes 20 more minutes to get to the gates. We got there finally, and this is where it starts to get crazy. So the front gates are obviously the biggest of the two gates. There's these lanes that it splits off into that all have gates in front of it and stuff, and there's big light poles, and there's speakers and stuff, and there's two posts where I guess guards are. I couldn't see the guards, but in a second you'll see that they're obviously there. But there's pretty much this rule at Area 51 that's been spoken, and it's kind of unspoken, but you're not supposed to get out of your car and video. You can get out of your car for a little bit and look, but you're not supposed to get a phone and record record anything, or like the guards will come take your phone as like evidence or whatever. I don't know. You're not supposed to. But me and my dad had the bright idea that he would get out of the car and he would walk around, and I would stick my hand and my phone out the window, but I would still be in the car, and I would record him, but I would still technically be in the car. So yeah, he got out of the car and he walked up closer to the gates, still pretty far away. I would say like 80-90 feet away from the actual gates themselves, and I was recording him, and we were taking like his picture standing there. And about like 40 seconds into it, you know, it was going okay, but at exactly like 42 seconds into it, you see in the video that I'm recording of him, the light poles like flick on randomly. I didn't notice at the time, but I'm glad I got it on video. And about 4 seconds after these light poles like flick on really bright, this like gut-wrenching nuclear warning siren thing starts blaring. I can't, the video that I have does not do justice just how loud this was. Like, I'm talking, this thing was, this siren, for lack of a better term, was literally shaking the car. Like, the windows were vibrating, and that's how loud it was. So whoever was there in the booth flicked on the siren, I guess because we were recording for too long, and it scared me and my dad like to death. I mean, he ran back to the car. I pulled the phone in. I was worried my hand was gonna get like shot off or something, but the siren flicked on, and let me tell you, it was literally, my ears were hurting so bad, and I've never heard a siren like that before. It was like gut-wrenching is I guess what you could describe it as that. So the siren comes on, dad floors it back to the car, I pull my thing in, I pull my phone in the car, we roll the windows up, and he gets in and drives off, and we're like, whew, that was scary. Little did we know that that was just the beginning of the craziness that was about to happen, because we still had to head to the back gate. So we're flooring it back to the dirt road, back to the roundabout, and back to the main road just to get out of there, because, you know, we don't know if we're gonna get like arrested or pulled over and interrogated. I don't know. But like I said, we got there like 4:30, and we spent like 15 minutes just, you know, kind of just there in the vicinity, but it was starting to get really dark on the way back to the main road. So we eventually do get back to the main road, and we were almost deciding not to go to the back entrance, but at the same time, we thought it would be pretty cool to pull up to the back entrance when it was pitch black outside, because that's cool and terrifying and whatever. So we do that, and the back entrance is actually like 40 minutes down the road from the main entrance. It's pretty far away, but it's on the same main road, and then you pull off on an unmarked dirt road to get to the back entrance. Now, the back entrance itself is kind of more convoluted to get there. You could say it's harder, because the road itself it's dirt almost the entire time, but there's more turnoffs that you could like mistakenly choose. And also the back gate itself has like forests so thick of Joshua trees like on both sides, so it's like you can't see that far out because it's so thick of, you know, cactus, whatever. It's creepy. So we're on this bumpy, nasty, like skinny back road thing to get to the back gate. We finally get there, and you can see in the video that I took, I would say it looks more creepy than the front gate. Now, I'm not sure if it was just because it was nighttime, but it was really creepy. It's not as built up as the front gate as you might expect. I mean, it's just the back gate itself is like 2 bars with stop signs, but you can actually see the people guarding the back gate up on the hill to the right in the video I took. I think there was like 2 ATVs up there, and there was people on both of them. So we weren't about to dare to get out of the car this time, because we didn't want to get literally arrested at this point. We kind of just drove up to the gates and kind of just stood there, took some videos and pictures, and then we ended up turning around and going back. But that back gate was really creepy at nighttime, especially because like the guys on the hill were like spotlighting down on us with flashlights, and their high beams were on and stuff. It was just really creepy. You know, it was like we weren't supposed to be there, obviously. At this point, it was pitch black outside. So we thought the night was over. We thought that everything was chill. Everything was about to just go smoothly, about to go back on the dirt road, find the path back to the main road, and then head back to our hotel. But we were completely wrong, and it was not even close to being over with. About 5 minutes driving back towards like another part of the dirt road you had to turn on to go back to the main road, we noticed this light paralleling us. I would say the light was probably about as high as our van was, or maybe a little bit higher, but it was moving at like a slightly faster pace than what our van was going. And you know, we were going like 40 miles an hour, and this thing was paralleling us, keeping its distance. I would say it's about 300 yards off the side of the road, like in the desert plains, but it was paralleling us. Obviously, it was following us. You might be thinking to yourself, you're just seeing things, you know. That's what we thought too. And then we realized, you know, we're in the middle of nowhere. Like the desert, if you've never been, like I said, to the desert, at nighttime, there is no light. I mean, there's literally not any lights at all. The only light is stars. Like, there's no glowingness in the desert. It's pitch black. So to see a light close enough for us to see it and following us was terrifying. So this thing was following us really far. like almost to the main road. It's like the road to the back gate is like a fourth turn off. So you have to turn off, then turn off again to get to that road. So we had gotten back to 2 of those roads and we're on the second to last road to turn off to get to the main road. It's confusing. But we were going back to, like I said, the second to last road when we noticed another light, but to our right this time. Now this light was red and they were, I would say, equidistant on each side of the road. So they were like equal parts on each side of the road and they were both following us. Me and my sister and my mom all saw it. My dad was driving, so he wasn't able to like look over. There was literally 3 people with their naked eyes that saw these lights following us. It was terrifying. They were both like going slightly faster than our van was going. If we would slow down or speed up, they would also slow down or speed up. They were keeping their distance. Now what I'm assuming they were was maybe drones that they had sent out to like check out our car. I'm not sure if they do this or not, but we definitely saw it. And like, you know, I'm not even making it up. Like we literally saw 2 lights, one on each side of the road following us. Still, like we were really close, you know, to the Area 51, the back entrance specifically. So it's not like we're seeing things or like illusions or whatever. It's pitch black desert. There's nothing else that could be out there. It was terrifying. You might think that would be the end of it, you know? We get to the main road, it's all behind us, no more lights, no more people, but you'd be wrong. Because we had gotten to that final road, the one that connects directly to the main road, and the light on the right, the red light, stopped. We didn't see it anymore. We could still see that white light off on the left, but it was kind of farther away, but it was almost like bobbing up and down, like it was stationary, but not really. I can't, it was really hard to explain. It was there still. So we were trying to, you know, rationalize why we were being followed on 2 sides by something in the middle of the desert with no other explanation. You know, there's no rationale. We got back to the main road and we turned right to go back to our hotel, and then about 4 or 5 minutes later we ended up pulling over just to like get our bearings to talk about what just happened. That's when we look back where we just came from. If you don't know, in the desert it's so flat that you can probably see back 50 miles and it looks like it's right behind you. That's like how table flat it is, you know. So we had no problem seeing 4 or 5 minutes behind us. So we turn around, the lights were gone, but what was there was headlamps. You know, those like things you wear around your hat, around your head when you're like hunting or going to the woods or something. You know, the ones that look where you're looking, those things. We saw like 3 of those, and we thought we also saw flashlights, but we for sure saw like 3 or 4 bobbing headlamps moving around in the desert. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, you're going insane. You know, you're off the meds, you're off the rocker. But this is 4 people seeing this, the same thing, in the middle of the pitch black desert, where I would venture to say the desert is probably some of the darkest places it gets at nighttime. So we see these headlamps walking around, and they were exactly on that path where we saw those, you know, lights on each side of us. We can only assume that they were like, I don't know, maybe like soldiers or whatever. I don't know who stays at the base, but they were people walking around. Keep in mind, there's no one out. It's like 6 at night, 5:30, 6 at night. It's pitch black. The only people back there that weren't like, you know, government people or these random farms that, you know, people don't live at. They just go there for their like barns or whatever, for their cattle. These were actual people like searching around with like lamps and headlights and multiple people. So when we saw this, I mean, we literally just floored it back like to our hotel. That was the final straw. We had just gotten tailed on both sides by 2 like drones or whatever we can assume they were. And then we get off the back roads and go to the main road, and we look back and there's literally people walking out in the middle of the desert where we just were, like searching for something, as if like we dropped something. It was like absolutely terrifying. So yeah, within the span of like 4 hours, we managed to go to the front gate of Area 51, set off the alarm there, and then go to the back gate of Area 51 and get followed by either a drone or people or both. Within the span of 3 hours, this happened. Like, that's insanely crazy to me. It's especially creepy if you've ever been in the desert at nighttime to see like how there's no other explanation of what those lights were except the drones or the people. It was terrifying. And we thought that the siren would be like the most terrifying thing we ever heard on that whole trip. Little did we know that a couple hours later, we would literally be followed by people, government officials, or UFOs maybe. Who knows? But yeah, that is it for the story time. Hopefully you did enjoy. Like I said, this is the first of many of this trip, and in general, I want to bring a ton to this channel, and I'm going to start doing this a lot more now that I got my own place. Soon to be a house tour as well. Get ready for that. I think my next story time will actually be one that didn't take place on the trip. It actually took place in my hometown, and it was a skinwalker encounter, so that's going to be fun. Tune in for that. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for supporting me, and I will see you later.